Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the Tech ChitChat Show. My name is Ken, and you can find me on Northern Viking Everyday and Northern Viking Explorer on YouTube. I'm here with my co-host, Stephen Loney. You can find him on YouTube at Stephen Loney or on Twitter at 8-Bit Warrior. He is our resident programmer and expert in everything.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
How are you today, Stephen?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good, thank you. You got your coffee all handy? I know I do. And
Yes.
You just got mad at me for pounding it on my desk too hard and it whipping through my microphone and making all sorts of
I was making a weird humming noise that was going on, but it's gone now. So
honestly, this is take 2 of this video because we didn't push record properly. I don't know how you do that wrong. Well, I shouldn't say I didn't push record.
So we're a little unsettled at the moment here.
Awesome. We made it to episode 3, and you're doing good down there. The weather's good. I hear
it's doing good. Yeah, it's raining. It's overcast, but you know what? Still a good day. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. We've had some snow here this week, but it's above 0 today. So, or for all of you in the US, that is freezing, or I think 32 or 33 degrees, somewhere in there. So, all right, let's just dive right into it. Episode 3.
Sure. Let's go.
Awesome. So the first thing we want to do is an update on last week's episode where we said there was a lot of rumors about a Sony camera. Well, the name is totally different than what we thought it was going to be. They actually announced it. It's called the Sony A1 mirrorless camera. Wow, this is a beast. Did you have a chance to have a look at some of these specs, Stephen?
I watched, I forget who it was. I was watching a review of a guy talking it hands-on, so he couldn't show any footage of what he was doing, but he was talking about just some of the specs. And from what I heard, it does sound like a pretty powerful device.
Yeah. Well, you can pre-order them right now. This is B&H Photo, but $6,500 for this camera. It does 8K video, which is crazy. 50 megapixel sensor. Let me just switch over here to this tab. This is over on Amazon. Some pretty cool stuff in there. Like if you have a look at the side of this camera, I know we were laughing about this earlier. It's got an Ethernet port on the side of it right here.
Honestly, that makes so much sense. when you're dealing with 8K footage, you just want it straight to the route,
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
I'm sure there are. I shouldn't say this. I'm not sure if there's other cameras that have 8K. I've never actually looked too closely at cameras of this kind of caliber, but Ethernet ports. But yeah, that was crazy when I saw that. It looks like it's got a microphone and headset port in it, which is cool. An HDMI. To me, that looks like a full-size HDMI. I know the ones I'm using have like the micro or mini. I can't remember what they're called. HDMI. I think that's a USB-C.
Right.
And a multi-port. So it's pretty crazy. It also has dual memory slots.
Is that an HDMI mini down there then at the bottom, or is that?
That's a good question. It is multi. It looks very similar to an HDMI mini. I don't know, to be honest, but yeah, it's a crazy camera. Around $6,500. It's available for pre-order. Looks like they're out of stock on Amazon, but B&H looks like they had some. They also have like some bigger bundles that are getting up $9,000-$10,000 with lenses and stuff. So that $6,500 is for the body only for that camera, which is kind of crazy for that. So yeah.
But I mean, if it films 8K footage and it's so from the review I was watching, the guy was saying the tracking on it's pretty good. Like he was using it to track birds moving in the air. He said he had like no problem just kind of auto focusing, and it was just catching the whole thing. And so, I mean, it seems like a pretty solid camera.
No, for sure. I think it's pretty neat. I mean, I'd love to try one out, but I don't even know where I'd get one to try out other than I don't think maybe you could rent one, but they're probably going to charge you a fortune even to rent one. So that makes what I want to show you now really seem sad. So here's my Sony that I bought this week. So this is the Sony A6000.
Is that even a camera? No, that's still.
I didn't pay $6,500 for it. I did get the zoom lens and the camera with the standard kit lens on it. I did buy this because I think last week we were talking about that I'm currently streaming on a Canon M200, and I've really wanted to give Sony a try for streaming. So I want to do some comparisons of this to my Canon M200, and I thought I'd give this a try. Kind of to maybe figure out if I want to fully flip over to the Sony side of things or stay with Canon. So I ended up getting a good deal on it, but I think, yeah, well, I'll probably have some videos coming up of using this on my channel, and I'm kind of excited to see how it turns out. This one doesn't have 50 megapixel. I believe it was, where is it? 24.3. The one thing I look for in a camera for myself, because I do a lot of YouTube work and this kind of streaming now with you, is I need cameras that have a clean HDMI. So again, so they don't have all the information on the display. So like when you're watching me now, it doesn't say battery life and how many pictures you can take, everything like that. It's a clean output. So this camera does have that, and it needs to have unlimited runtime as well, so it doesn't shut down after 30 minutes. So I'm happy to try this out. So yeah, we'll see how it compares to Canon. Yeah. Awesome. Shall we move on? I know I brought to your attention something this week. Let me switch over here.
Yeah, this looks really cool.
I haven't had a chance to try it out. I know you were trying to play with it a little bit. Turning your tablet or your phone into a second monitor with I believe it was free open source software called Deskreen. Let me pull up their article here.
Yeah, so this seems to be pretty new. Like, obviously, he's been working on it probably for a while here, the developer of it, but it seems to be just newly released and available. Yeah, this is pretty cool. So I've tried, over the past few years, I've tried to like turn my Android devices into like second monitors, and I've just never been happy with the quality of it. It just seems to be janky and like sketchy and like never been happy with it. So I'm looking forward. So I was going to try to use this, but I realized, so looking at a YouTube video of the developer showing it, it looks like it works pretty well. And I was going to go try it, but at the moment it requires something called a virtual display adapter. And it's just like a little dummy USB thing that you plug into a USB port, and it makes the computer like right there. There's the
like these ones. Okay.
Yeah, so they're pretty cheap. They go on Amazon for like $8 kind of thing, and then you plug them into a supposedly you plug it into a USB port, and then it makes your computer think that you have another monitor when you don't, and so you end up you run Deskreen, and then this USB plug makes your computer think it has another monitor, and then it streams it to your computer, and then so then you can just basically use practically an old iPad or Android tablet or phone as another screen, which is great.
Are these adapters available? They're available on Amazon?
Yes, they are available on Amazon, and probably other places as well. But like, Amazon's probably the easiest way to get them.
And that one looks like is that a display port? One in the middle?
Yeah,
that looks like HDMI display port. And is that the mini DP plug? So is that for is that
Max? Yeah, right. So my mistake. Yeah, so you don't plug it in through the USB port. My bad. You find a little dummy plug for the connector. Your
video card.
Yeah, right. For your video card. So, so for me, I have a lot of extra plugs open on my video card that I can just buy the right display port one and plug it in, and then I could try it with. So I was going to try out Deskreen, but I realized, I need this one of these hot plugs for it. But however, I was looking at the plan for the future for the software, and he's looking to remove that requirement for it. Okay. So it's on his plan to remove the need for it. So for right now, it's requiring it. But it seems like Deskreen right now, as far as I can tell, it seems like the work of like one guy right now, largely, and it looks like he's trying to like expand it and go and get maybe more help with it later. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this because so far the streaming second monitor stuff that I've checked out like this before, I've been often unhappy with it. Sure. And so I'm hoping that this is a very solid solution that sticks around. And also worth noting that this guy does, I forget his name here, who was working on it. But he has a Patreon page. So if anybody wants to support him, this has a, Pavlo Paul Budinkov.
Okay.
He has a Patreon page that you can support his work on it seems like a really cool project. This is a piece of software that seems to have been lacking, where people have been trying to make solutions here, and this just seems like a great way to bring back to life old tablets and phones and things that are not getting used anymore. It's like, hey, you just buy a plug, put it in, run the software, and run your other monitor here. Like I can make use of this. I often need like documentation open on another. Like I do have 2 monitors right now. But I would love, I'd find it cool to find my old, have my old phone right here with some documentation on it while I'm working.
Yeah.
Cool.
And maybe we can, we'll find some links to Amazon if you're wanting to try out Deskreen. I keep wanting to say screen, but Deskreen. We'll find some links to these adapters and put them in the description below here on YouTube anyhow. And if you're wanting to try it out. And we'd love to hear about it if you have tried this out. Write it in the comments below. We'd love to know how it works for you. Yeah,
and just quickly, he does. Deskreen apparently does support Windows, Mac OS, and Linux, so it supports all the major OSs. So
yeah, no, that's cool. I think I know I've got an extra tablet right here. My old phones go to hand-me-downs to the kids, but I do have a tablet, and I think that would be really cool to use just for having. Especially when we do stuff like this, to have one more screen with more information or just notes, something like that on it.
Right. So, right.
Cool. Awesome. Well, shall we dive into our next topic, which is YouTube clips and shorts? So this is more, I think.
Yeah, this is your ballpark. You've been experimenting with that, haven't you?
Yeah. So let me talk about the part that I've been experimenting second, which is called which is shorts. YouTube right now, I think it's, let me put this screen up. Whoops, wrong one. There we go. So they've let some creators try out this short clip thing. So what it is, or sorry, not creators, viewers, and what it allows you to do, I think it puts a little pair of scissors on your YouTube screen, and it allows you, if you're watching a video, to clip out from 5 to 60 seconds of a video clip that you can share on social media. So rather than sharing maybe a 30-minute video, so you could just clip out this section of our video and share it with your friends. We'd love it if you shared our whole video, but you don't, not just 60 seconds. But it allows you, if there's a key point in a video that you want to share with someone or embed on your website, it allows you to do that, which is really handy, especially if you're watching, a longer video and there's just one key point that you need to share with maybe your coworkers or friends or family, that sort of thing. So I think that's a cool feature. YouTube's always trying to roll out new stuff, and this is a kind of a cool one that they're rolling out. I know the other portion of this was called YouTube Shorts, and as you'd mentioned, I've been experimenting with this. So what YouTube Shorts is, think of it as competition to TikTok or I don't even remember what the Instagram, is it Instagram stories, maybe something like that. So on your phone, you create a YouTube video or with some cameras, but you have to film it vertically. And so it shows up kind of in a different section for people who are watching YouTube on their phone. There's a shorts area, and they're all videos that are under 60 seconds long. And some of them have been taking off. I've done probably 3 or 4 of them now. One of them, they've all kind of just dwindled and gotten a few views, but one of them, I don't want to say it went viral, but it got about 750 views in maybe 24 hours and then it just died off. So there was no views, got 750 views in 24 hours, and then it just died off. So clearly YouTube just promoted that video,
Right.
and it's totally a different aspect. It's going for just quick videos to compete with TikTok and Instagram. But again, it has to be filmed in vertical mode. It has to be shorter than 60 seconds. And they recommend putting the pound shorts in the title as well. So that's something, I mean, some people say it picks it up on its own, but it's more likely to pick it up on YouTube's end if you have the pound shorts in your title. So if you have a YouTube channel, go ahead and try that out, film it in vertical. And I think we were talking about last week the Canon M50 Mark II. So the new Canon camera. And that camera actually, you can film vertically. It's designed for the media or the content creator where you could film vertically natively and without rotating your video or anything, and upload it like that. So that was a cool, if you are a content creator, check out that camera as well. But that might work for you.
So what I'm wondering about that is, are they still running ads during for these shorts and for the clips? Are they running ads the same, or are they going to run like no ads or like shorter ads?
So that's a good question. So you could still go watch one of my shorts on my channel, even in, basically it'll crop it out. Like if you're watching it, it'll be black on both sides.
And then like, are the ads are they gonna be like vertical based too? Like, is there gonna be some kind of like?
That's a good question. I don't know. I honestly, as a creator, they don't pay me AdSense for that. I don't make any money off of
shorts.
So as of right now, I don't know if that'll change in the future.
Yeah, it still feels experimental. And
yeah.
So I'm just curious to know what they're going to do there.
Yeah, so I don't get any ad revenue from that as of right now, but we'll see down the road if that changes. So yeah, cool.
Good to know.
Yeah. So why don't we move? Or did you have another question on that one?
Oh, I was just thinking with the shorts and stuff. Do you see any benefit to yourself as a content creator, like using it? Like, do you see, especially with YouTube clips, do you find this useful for yourself?
I do. Well, I think it still helps grow your channel. So just because you might not make ad revenue, it's still a lot of content or ideas. Maybe I have a tech tutorial that I want to show people, but do I really, it might only take me 20 seconds to show them how to do it. Is it really worth doing a full YouTube video for, where I could do it in a shorts video? And it might be something that's just tricky and people want to know how to do, but it can be done really quickly. So that's kind of the aspect I've been taking with it. If I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is a full video, or so I think that would be the one thing. And as a content creator, like, it'll help gain you recognition. It might gain you subscribers, that sort of thing as well. So
right. I guess it's one more tool that you have access to use when it's right.
And they're quite quick to make. It's not like you're editing a half-hour video. You could literally
picking point A, point B real quick, and you just
exactly. Exactly. So all right, shall we move on to our next topic, Google Fiber? And we had a little discussion of how to spell fiber.
We just learned today there's a difference between the American and the British spelling. So that's, up here in Canada, it's F-I-B-R-E, but we went with the American spelling anyway. So thanks, America.
Yes, thank you.
For the spelling confusion.
So Google Fiber. So I don't even know what to say. So there's this article we came across that Google is going to be start offering 2 gigabit per second download speeds next year for $100 a month.
It's cheap.
So I thought that was pretty cool. I know they're looking for subscribers, I think, for testers in Nashville and Huntsville, Alabama, and to try out this service. So $100 a month, 2 gig service. I know they're offering, it says in this article, they're offering 1 gig service for about $30 to $40 less a month. I'd love to know if people are actually getting that sort of quality. I know we have 600 internet, and I'm lucky if I've ever seen over 350.
Right. Now, I was just talking to, we had an internet tech here to help with our TV, and I was talking to him. Anyway, he brought up a comment saying how a lot of people will complain how they're not getting the full bandwidth that they paid for. And I understand why. And I was talking to him, and it's because, especially if you're on like Wi-Fi devices may only download at a max of 300 megabits per, like, that's not megabytes. So for example, they might at a max do like 25 megabytes max download or something. And if you want the full, you need to be like plugged into the like LAN port, like on that camera, that straight into that Ethernet port. So like that Sony camera, if you plug in the Ethernet port on it, you're getting like the full download possibly, right? Depending on potentially. So even on your house, you have 600, but if you're getting 300, there's still other 300 being split to somewhere else in the house potentially. So you're still overall getting that. So I feel like a lot of people wouldn't get the full 2 gigabits down.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't even know how to use it all. You need to be like plugged right into the router directly, pretty much, like a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of Wi-Fi cards, I don't think will support it, especially on phones and stuff.
Yeah.
No, but this is really fast and affordable. And I was just crunching some numbers, and basically this speed, if you got the full thing, you would download a full DVD movie in less than 20 seconds.
Okay.
So like, right? And then like a standard like 4K Blu-ray movie, you would have in like less than 3.5 minutes. You'd be like fully downloaded.
Oh, that's quick. Yeah.
Yeah. So like less than 3.5 minutes, full 4K Blu-ray movie, high quality. Now it's just, that's not going to be the same as like 4K online video. That I think that's a higher bit rate. It's a high quality.
Mhm.
And so 3.5 minutes, 4K Blu-ray.
It would still allow for your videos to buffer ahead of time. Quite well.
Oh yeah, this is fast.
Yeah.
Because that was let me just do a quick calculation here.
So while you're doing that, I know your neighbor, how many people are on your, and it might depend on the type of internet you have as well, but when this whole lockdown thing happened here and everybody on the street, we have a new street across from us, was on the internet, we could barely get on the internet.
Right.
And I know that our internet provider, they upgraded something down our whole street to make everybody get what they should be getting. I know that for a fact because they cut out my football game one Sunday. And I'm like, hey, what are you doing out there? And he's like, oh, we're upgrading your internet down the street. And it's like, okay, fine. I'll live. I don't get to see my football game, but it could be the equipment at the road that is the bottleneck for your whole street as well.
American football's boring anyway, so.
Hey, now you're gonna get a lot. It was American football I was watching. So. Now you're gonna get a lot of flack.
Bring it on.
So,
yeah.
And I was talking about soccer football, like that European football. I'm joking.
You were not. You were not.
All right. I was watching the Seahawks, to be honest.
All right.
So I think, did you do your calculation or no?
Well, yeah. So if I'm not being stupid here, it's basically that you're getting 250 megabytes a second download.
Okay.
Like, does the average person need faster than that?
Probably not.
And the other thing too, so they're saying that the upload speed's not changing. So it's only 1 gigabit up, which is 125 megabytes upload and 250 megabytes down. Like, that's fast. Like,
so to put this in perspective, what would be your estimation on how fast of internet you need to do gaming that it wouldn't be noticeable, like that it would run steady
for gaming?
Yeah.
So if you're gaming with like no chat, no video streaming to like whatever, you're not Twitch streaming or whatever, it's just a game. Yeah. Games only send like at most like 50 kilobytes a second.
Okay.
Like, it might be if you're uploading. You know what? Gaming doesn't use that much. It's mostly about like latency, how the latency, the consistency to the network.
Okay.
If you got like if you have like a megabit download speed, if you got like 1 megabit up and down, you can game just fine. In some cases, there's probably exceptions, but a lot of gaming doesn't use tons. It's when you add voice chatting and your video streaming at the same time. But if you're just playing a Call of Duty game of like 12 to 24 people, it's not using that much data.
Yeah.
And this won't do anything for pure bandwidth speed. It won't do anything, but if the consistency, if the speed to the network there and back is faster, yeah, but the speed's not going to do anything for you. The overall bandwidth doesn't necessarily help at all. It's about your latency and your ping to the servers.
That being said, if you're using what's it called, Google Stadia.
Oh, okay.
Google Stadia. Yeah. I know that's a different ballpark, but
yeah,
that's where it would make a difference in gaming. But
people could argue that Google needs this to work, the fiber to play Stadia, but that's not true. But but it would probably help if you were using Google's fiber. Google Stadia would probably be pretty good. Like it would probably help it because they would probably be like on their networks and latency. It would probably just help it. So
and if you're not sure what Google Stadia is, it is basically you're streaming the whole game versus having it on a console like a PlayStation or Xbox.
Yeah, it's like Netflix but for gaming kind of thing.
Yeah. So awesome. Let's keep rolling here. And I know you brought this to my attention. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's called I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Neither do I. HWiNFO.
HWiNFO and OCCT. Let me pull this up on my computer here. So do you mind explaining these, Stephen?
Yeah, so I've started using this program for analyzing what's going on with my computer called HWiNFO. A while ago, I purchased an old janky PC that's quite powerful, but it was kind of old and janky, and I needed to diagnose it and make sure everything's running fine. It's a more of a hotter running 6-core i7, and I needed to check all the temperatures. I wanted to be able to check all the stats of the computer. So I came across a tool called HWiNFO, which has been really, really handy. It's allowed me to just check all the stats of my computer, and it's removed all the guesswork of what's going on.
Can I throw up your screen here?
Sure. Yeah. So I have it open.
Is this HWiNFO or is this OCCT?
So this is a part of HWiNFO. So there's a bit more that it does. So here I have open just the diagnostics, like just this is pretty much trying to load up every sensor that my computer has and trying to output all the information it can. So it's kind of an overload. So if I want to know what's going on with like all my CPU cores, if I want to know what's going on with my GPU, it tells me like I can get the, for example, right now it's showing me the speed of my CPU. It's showing me the temperature of each of my CPUs, like all the 6 cores. I can see the temperatures. I can see if they're thermal throttling. I can see how much power that my CPU is using. Right now it's using 116 watts. Okay. And so recently, and also here it's showing how much power my GPU is using, so on my graphics card, and I'm just able to read all the temperatures, even for my memory. So this is really good. So recently what happened is that my computer, I had an issue, and even at idle, my computer was overheating. Something was wrong, and I'm not sure entirely, but I was able to load this application up and validate saying, yeah, something's wrong. Even at idle, my computer was like super high temperatures and something was wrong. And so I was able to use this application to just validate that, be like, yep, something's up. And I could see exactly where the problem was. And so I was able to go into my computer's BIOS and tweak some settings and fix the issue. And it's also kind of cool is down here, I have my little taskbar, and I've been able to add in some specific values down here on my taskbar always read. So here I have my CPU temperature, my GPU temperature, my memory temperatures, as well as my CPU fan speed. So I'm able to just watch these at a glance to make sure that I'm not having that same issue again where my temperatures are spiking, so that my computer doesn't die on me. I want to make sure that because this is an older running i7. It's more of an older, hotter running version. I want to make sure that I'm not getting issues and killing. So this has been really cool.
Yeah.
And this ties into, so this is like just reads pretty much, tries to read every sensor in your computer to remove all guesswork, which is great for people who are, if you're building a new PC and you want to just make sure everything's running properly. Did I install that CPU cooler right? Is it, are the temperatures good? Load up HWiNFO. It's free, easy to use. You got a new GPU. You want to validate that it's not thermal throttling too quickly. All this stuff, right? And so this is great. There's a bit more that HWiNFO does, but for the sensors, this is really cool. And so that's what ties into OCCT.
Can I say one thing before you go into OCCT? I thought this was really interesting. It says it's used by NASA, which I thought was crazy.
Well, I don't see why not.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And yeah.
So, and then Intel, AMD, Dell, Asus. So, I mean, if they're using it, I mean, it must be quite a powerful tool for sure.
Well, and it makes sense. And it says there with NASA, and I'm not sure where they probably do use it. And they mentioned there, I think on the website, about like something about radiation when they're taking devices into like radiation areas. So especially when you're taking hardware into areas that are prone to hotter areas, like when you add radiation, hot temperatures, you're taking your computer tech into like sketchy places. You need diagnostics to validate that your hardware is not failing.
Yeah.
And this just gives all the sensor as much as is reasonable to check that. So it makes sense that NASA and all these places would use it. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So you brought up OCCT here. So OCCT is basically it uses HWiNFO. It ties into it, but it adds another layer of, it actually adds in some diagnostics of like benchmarking your CPU and stuff like that. So you can in another layout, there's a lot of the same, but it basically allows you to benchmark your PC at the same time with these extensive benchmarks that will just like try to kill your processor in a nice way. Like it'll try to load it with these heavy tasks. So it will like max out your cores, all your, it'll basically max out your computer and to see if it's reliable. And it will actually use HWiNFO under the hood to allow you to keep reading those sensors in a very nice visual way of like, it's just very nice. So it's pretty much hardware info with more benchmarking tools to run at the same time to just validate that your system is running as you intended, especially if you're building a new computer or you're testing out, you bought a computer used and you want to make sure that it's running well and you don't have to change like the thermal paste on the processor and all this stuff. It just removes the guesswork. So you're not having to like be frustrated. You just see the sensors, what's going on. It's a great tool for people who just want to know what's going on with their computer.
Cool. And I see it's free for personal use only. So if you're using it for your corporation, that's not free for you. But if for someone like yourself, you're just making your own personal computers at home, and this is a great option.
The only two restrictions I saw with personal that seem to be different from the full version is you can only run, so that the stress test you can only run for like 1 hour straight, which is totally fine for me. And it was like there's like a 10-second delay before starting benchmark tests, which is totally fine. So very minimal. So
cool. No, that's super handy. I think I should try that out one day when when I have a bit of time. Is it a quick setup on there, or is it?
Oh yeah, very easy to set up and use. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It is just
Did you have any other thoughts or things you wanted to say about those pieces of software?
I'd say try them out, download them, give them a shot, and just kind of so you can just get a glance at what's going on with your computer. It's so easy to use. It's just a great tool to have on hand. Yeah,
you've shown me that other piece of software before that gives you a lot of information on your computer. It's probably a little bit more basic than this.
Yeah, that one's good too. CPU-Z.
Okay.
Or CPU-Z, depending on where you're at.
Depending on how you spell fiber or fiber.
Yeah, CPU-Z, eh? We'll go with CPU-Z. Rolls off the tongue easier. So it's just, let me just look quickly before I send people to the wrong place. CPU. It's like CPU-Z, and it's from a website called cpuid.com. You find it there, and it's for people who just need very bare bones diagnostics to see quickly what their computer is. That's another cool tool. Yeah, that one right there. So that one's much lighter. You can actually use it in conjunction with HWiNFO. Like you can get both of them, and you can run. CPU-Z also has its own little benchmark, like stress test as well, a light one. So it's very stripped down. It's much more simple than HWiNFO, but yeah, CPU-Z I use quite often as well, and it's also great for light diagnostics.
Cool. And we can put links to all of these pieces of software in the description so you can easily find them for sure. So that's cool. Thanks for sharing that information, Stephen. I think it's really useful, especially if you're even just getting into computers or you want to build your own computer. They're great pieces of software to check out. So awesome. We do have a question of the day. Let me switch over to that. And it jumps back to Deskreen. And we're just wondering, will Deskreen be something that would Deskreen be something that benefits you, having an extra monitor from your old phone or your old tablet, or I shouldn't even say old, maybe you have a current tablet that you just want,
right?
Or an iPad or something to use as a third monitor or second monitor. Would that be something that benefits you? Leave a comment on that in the description or in the comment section below. We would love to hear from you. Now, do you have any final thoughts there, Stephen, before we sign off for the day?
I actually really want to try Deskreen. I might look into maybe have a follow-up with that if I get a chance to get one of those hot plugs, those dummy display ports. And I really am interested to know of other people's thoughts on that. If anyone has tried it, I want to hear their experience with it. I'd like to follow up with Deskreen. That's something that I
sure. Yeah. So maybe we'll look into that. So awesome. Well, I appreciate you joining us today, everybody, from wherever you are in the world. And again, you can find us here on YouTube or on podcasts all over the place. So there's on a whole bunch of them now, Spotify, Google, and more, Anchor. And go check us out on there. If you're trying to listen to someone in the car, maybe check us out while you're driving. So thank you so much for joining us today for Tech ChitChat Show, Episode 3. Until next time, take care.